Okay, welcome to your new game of Tumbling Dice. Let's take a moment to look inside at all the components. So, this lovely box here, you can undo the clasp up front, flip open the lid, and voila. We have all the pieces inside. The dice bag is one of the biggest things you'll notice. Right? Set that aside for a moment, take a look in a second. These are all the different levels of the board itself. I'll show you how to put those together a little bit later. Let's take a look at what's inside the dice bag. I wonder what it could be inside of something called a dice bag. Let's see. We have these posts. These are legs that are going to be to hold up each level. And oddly enough, we'll also find some dice in the dice bag. So let's take a moment and take a look at how to put the thing together. Okay, let's start putting the game together. Got pieces of varying heights. These are feet that are going to go on the bottom of our board. There's two, should be two of each size, except for one of the larger posts. So we got that. Alright, I'll leave the dice in there for now. Alright. Well, this is the first level. Pull these out. These don't get any posts. Alright, we'll grab the second level. The second level has 3 times question mark on it, and it has these pegs. None of the other pieces besides these ones you see here have these pegs here. Alright, what we're going to do is flip this over and grab the shortest pegs and place those into here. Right? And you'll see little pegs here. These are going to help us connect this side into these pieces here. Now this sometimes out of it is the trickiest part to putting the game together. Each of these holes lined up. And just set them down. Oh, that didn't go too badly. Alright. Okay. And from there we'll just keep building them up. So 3 times the next level will be 2 times level. Right here we'll grab the second smallest pieces and put those into these holes here. Seat them all the way down. More pegs. These are going to go into these holes here. Right. Now we got the next level. The next highest pegs. Place those in here. I made it all so that it all comes apart so that it can fit into a smaller box. Right, and the last level just has 1 peg. Put that in there. That sits in there. And the last platform, this is the platform we're going to launch from. And we'll see what that is in a second. So let's close this up. Set it aside. And from here, we'll go to showing you how to play the game. Okay, so here we have, we've already set up the game. It has 6 sets of 4 different colored dice. And to get ready to start the game, depending on how many people you're playing with, and I'll show you just the basic of the game. But you grab a color that you want to use. Your opponent would grab a color. So since there's 6 sets, you can play with up to 6 people. If you want to get more dice, you could even throw more people on. But it's a very simple game in that you will alternate turns. So let's say a 2-player game, we have pink and red going here. Let's say pink is going first. They have to launch their die from this top level. Okay? It has to be on here when they let go of it. And when you launch your die, you can flick it, you can push it, whatever, as long as it stays on this level here. And what you're going to do is on your turn, you just push it. Now, in this case, I landed on the first level here. It says no dice. In this case, there's no scoring that takes place, and you remove the die, set it aside off the board so it doesn't interfere with anybody else's die. Then it would be Red's turn. Red sets the die down, and Red pushes. Okay, now let's zoom in there to see what happened with Red. At this moment, Red is on the level that says 3 times question mark with a dice side of 5. So all we do is take 3 times 5, and that one would be scored as 15. But not quite yet, because what can happen next? Okay. Now there are 4 die, like I mentioned, and in each there'll be 4 rounds, and in each round, people will go until each person has used their die. So Red right now has their die right there, but Pink can come in here, and Pink can... Oh, I did it perfectly. Nice the first time. Pink just pushed Red off the board. This die no longer has any value, right? And then what we do is we take turns going back and forth until each person has rolled their die. That one doesn't count as anything. All right. So now we're at the end of this round. All right, and let's see what we've got here. So, as you can see, Pink has 1 on level 3 for 12 points. They have 2 on the second level, which has a multiplier of 2. So this one, side of 4, that's worth 8 points. So now we have 20. And now we have 5 times 2 is 10. So 30 points for Pink on that round. Let's take a look at Red. Red only landed on the multiplier with a 1. So 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 1 equals 2. So Red only got 3 points to the 30 that Pink got. Now what we do is, to play the second round, everybody grabs their die back, and whoever had the least amount of points, whoever has the most amount of points during that round has to go first. The reason for that is just that it's a little bit of a disadvantage to have to go first, because you can see with the way you can knock your opponent's die off. The person who goes first has one more roll where their die can be knocked off than the other person. So that's to kind of help balance things out. So if someone gets out to a big lead, someone might be able to come in who's behind and keep them in check. And it becomes... knocking people off becomes even more of a strategy, I'd say, when you've got more people playing. So all you do now is you play a second round, a third round, and a fourth round. Each round, whoever had the highest points during the round, just during the round, not overall, but during the round, goes first. And then at the end of that, you tally up all the points, and whoever has the most wins that round, or wins that game. And you can do other things. You can play teams where everybody, let's say we had Pink and White versus Yellow and Red. All right, they would all alternate by teams. So let's say we would do White first, then the second team, Red would go, then Pink would go, then Yellow would go, and you would alternate just like in a normal game. The rules are the same as a normal game, but you won't want to knock your partner's die off, and you may even have a strategy of blocking high valued, like let's say your partner here, let's say Yellow had something here in a 4 times 6. That's the highest points you can get during a round, and you didn't want that knocked off, and let's say it's the last round, and let's say we're going through the last round, and White comes in and lands someplace. Red shoots their die and tries to put it somewhere, I don't know, here in the middle. And the reason for it being in the middle is now Pink could come along, could try to knock it off, but they've got to go through the red die to get down to the yellow die. So, kind of fun when you're playing teams, because you can have that strategy where you can cooperate to figure out how to best score the most amount of points amongst the two of you. Right. Other things you can do, like in darts, you can play like a 301. You know, where the first person to a certain point value 301 wins. Whatever you want to do, but that's the basic rules of the game. When you're and so that's basically it. So I'm gonna box it back up. So just show you how that's done, so that you know how to properly put it away. Okay, just the final part here to show how to put things away. So everything comes apart quite easily. I'll leave these aside. I'm just gonna set this in here. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to remember how I designed it. Right? Okay, there we got that. I'll take this part, put it in there. Let's take this. Oh, remember to take the legs off. So just be careful with the. Oh, and by the way, nothing's glued in here, so if a peg comes out, just put it back in. I just did that in case we need to ever make replacements. Easier to get them out if they're not glued in there. Be careful with the pegs. They actually aren't glued in there. They're friction fit in there, but they're very tight in there. But I mean, I could see these being easy to snap off if you're not careful. I gotta remember how exactly I best did this. Okay, put this here. Right. That can go there, be fine. These can go over here. Right. Then back into the bag. Alright, just lay the dice bag in there, and lay them flat. There's a little bit of room at the top, but these posts kind of will stick out if it wants to open. There's handles on the side here for lifting it, and a little latch on the front should hold everything in. You should be able to transport it, put it on a shelf while you're not using it.